Hi, this is Seth Wilde from Sonic Electronix.com, and today we're going to talk about how to hook up an amplifier. This is a basic video on how to install an amplifier. For those of you that have never installed an amplifier before, sometimes it can seem like an overwhelming or daunting task. However, once you understand the basics of how to do it, it becomes very simple. And there's three main parts to hooking up an amplifier. Number one, you need to power your amplifier. Number two, you need to give your amplifier an input signal. And three, you need to have an output signal coming from the amplifier to your speakers or to your subwoofer. So the first thing we want to talk about is how to power your amplifier. Now over here, we have the Stinger SPV44 battery. Now it's very important to always remember to disconnect the negative battery terminal when you're doing an install like this. And up here, we have our 4-gauge power cable and we have our 4-gauge ground cable. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect our ground cable to the terminal of the amplifier. Now what we're going to do here is we're just going to put it into the portion of the terminal that says ground, and then we're going to screw that down. Now once we have this connected from the negative on the amplifier terminal, we're going to then ground this portion of the cable to the chassis on the vehicle. For more information on how to ground that, you can see some of our knowledge-based articles or some other videos that we have on the best way to make that ground connection. But for the video, we're just going to set that over here. Now that we have our ground cable connected to our amplifier, we're going to connect the power cable. And over here, with our Stinger battery, we're just going to connect this with our battery clamp. We're going to put this on the positive end of the battery. And the power cable then goes through the fuse holder and is then connected to the positive portion of the terminal on the amplifier. So we're just going to put that in here, and then we're going to screw that down. After you connect the power cable to your amplifier, you're then going to connect your remote turn-on wire. Now this is connected to the wiring harness of your receiver. In this case, we have the DNX6140 from Kenwood, a fantastic GPS navigation receiver. And it is color-coded and labeled on the back of the wiring harness. Now, different manufacturers will use different colors and different ways to label that, so you need to be careful and you need to make sure you are connecting the right wire. But we're just going to take this wire and we're going to connect it right next to the power and ground in the remote turn-on portion of this terminal, and you're going to screw that down. Now that you have this wire connected, it's time to give your amplifier an input source. So over here at the rear of the receiver, we have our RCA interconnects. These are Kicker's XI series interconnects. They're very nice interconnects, and they're connected to the subwoofer out portion on this receiver. And we're going to take these interconnects, we're going to run them to the input portion of this amplifier. And we're just going to insert them there. Once your RCA interconnects are connected, your amplifier is now receiving an audio source, and you need to give that source someplace to go. So the last part of connecting your amplifier is connecting it to your speakers or your subwoofer. Now over here we have the Kicker CVR Subwoofer, and it's already pre-wired. For more information on how to wire a subwoofer, you can again see our knowledge base or some of our other forums or videos. And we're going to take this speaker wire, and we're going to insert it into the speaker wire terminals over here, and we're going to screw that down. Now that we have our subwoofer connected to our amplifier, our installation is done. It's really that simple. Remember the three basic parts of installing an amplifier is 1, powering your amplifier, 2, giving your amplifier an input signal, and 3, connecting your speakers or your subwoofer to the amplifier for your outputs. My name is Seth Wilde, and this is SonicElectronix.com.